For residential and commercial construction services you can trust, call Delta Contracting and Design Incorporated in Strattonville today at 814-764-5506. Or if it's concrete and excavating work you need done, then call Ace Concrete and Excavating at 814-764-5551. More on both Delta Contracting and Design and Ace Concrete and Excavating can be found at delcondesign.com. That's DELCON design.com. As you approach retirement, it is important to accumulate assets and build a financial plan that can sustain your lifestyle during your golden years. While calculating the cost of your changing income needs can be daunting, our Retirement Income Evaluator can help you develop a roadmap for the future. To learn more, stop by our office located at 162 South 2nd Avenue in Clarion. Give us a call at 814-223-9990 or visit JanneyClarion.com. Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC. Looking for affordable auto, home, and life insurance? Look no further than Allstate Insurance, the David Jones Agency in Clarion and Meadville. At the David Jones Agency, you get personalized attention from someone who lives where you do. The David Jones Agency meets you where you are. They are available during regular business hours Monday through Friday at their office, via appointment at the office after hours, or remotely. The David Jones Agency also offers investment opportunities, including annuities and IRAs. The David Jones Agency can be reached in Clarion at 814-223-4000 and in Meadville at 814-337-5107. Buying, selling, or building a home? Then call Burford & Henry Real Estate today at 814-227-7355. For more than 15 years, Burford & Henry Real Estate Realtors have been ready to help you in your next property search. They are also the #1 agency selling more homes in the region than anyone else. And with their Showcase Homes divisions, their expert consultants can help you with building the home of your dreams. Check out Burford & Henry online at burfordandhenry.com. Burford & Henry Real Estate Services, something different. Welcome, folks, to another edition of the QR Code Coaches Chalkboard Show on the YDL Sports Network, powered by Janney Montgomery Scott in Clarion, JanneyClarion.com. I'm Chris Rossetti. Next to me is the hero for Dues Boys Central Catholic tonight, Merrick Hoyt, and Steve Buttery stepping in for Jess Quinn, who we hope to get remotely from Clarion High School a little later on here. But let's move over, guys, here, as it looks like Steve is Steve, we're going to have to go this way, Steve, so that we get Steve away from the there we go. We'll get this figured out, live production stuff. Anyhow, Merrick Hoyt, the star here, is scored 14 points, helping New Boy Central Catholic to a mercy rule win over Keystone in the District 9 1A quarterfinals. Merrick, did you think it was going to be this easy?
No, I mean, we game planned. We definitely didn't take them lightly in practice. We definitely didn't take them lightly.
It really was about your defense into offense early in this game. You guys were jumping all over them in the first quarter. I think it was 16-2. Talk about going defense to offense, defense to offense.
Yeah, well, we run this diamond defense to try and speed them up in the offense, and that just really elevated our game into getting it, getting us quick in the offense.
And then offensively, it was really balanced. How important is that for you guys to get so many different guys involved?
Oh, it's so important. The ball movement is so important. I mean, all the guys just did super good tonight with all that.
You move into the semifinals. You're playing Union. They beat Clarion, the 6-3 upset. We'll get into a little bit more on that here in a moment, folks. But how much have you paid any attention to Union this year?
Yeah, we have. But the focus this week was definitely just to beat Keystone.
How excited are you to be back in the semifinals?
Very excited. Very excited.
Do you guys feel like maybe after last year you have a little bit of unfinished business?
Yeah, definitely. I think we all have a little bit of fire on this.
It seemed like you guys came out with that fire. That you're talking with that diamond defense. You're doing a lot of trapping out of it. Talk about how much commitment there has to be to that.
It has to be like full commitment. There has to be not one person can take a play off. It has to be full commitment all the time.
And your depth seems to allow you guys to do that, because that probably expends a little bit of energy, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I know I was holding my fist up to that a bit.
But talk about how the depth on this team has been built. Like, I saw you guys early in the year. Maybe you weren't going as deep, but it just seems like as the season's gone on, guys like Picciarelli, Verischetti, have really come on and played key roles.
Yeah, they've all improved throughout the year, and they've definitely shown their work on this team and how they can get in the game. So it's incredible.
Well, Merrick, congratulations. You're the Allegheny Grill of Foxborough Player of the Game. I'm going to have you hold the T-shirt up, show everybody
Thank you.
that, and good luck on Wednesday against Union. And folks, we're going to step aside. When we go back, we'll have DCC head coach Don Barrichello hopefully with us.
Can I shout out somebody?
Yeah, you can go ahead and shout out whoever you want, Merrick.
Shout out Brendan Paisley for that incredible dunk.
Send it down, Brendan. Send it down. So, anyhow, folks, we'll be back after this with Don Barrichello. You're watching the Janney Montgomery Scott in Clarion QR Code Coaches Chalkboard Show with Chris Rossetti and Steve Buttery tonight.
As you approach retirement, it is important to accumulate assets and build a financial plan that can sustain your lifestyle during your golden years. While calculating the cost of your changing income needs can be daunting, our Retirement Income Evaluator can help you develop a roadmap for the future. To learn more, stop by our office located at 162 South 2nd Avenue in Clarion. Give us a call at 814-223-9990 or visit JanneyClarion.com. Janney Montgomery Scott, LLC, member NYSE, FINRA, and SIPC.
We're here. We joined now by Jess Quinn on the right, but I'm now here with Don Barrichello with DuBois Central Catholic's head coach after the big win here at DuBois over Keystone. And Tom, I was just asking Merrick, as a coach, you can't really draw up having it be that easy, or at least make it look that easy. How did you guys manage to do that to a pretty good Keystone team tonight?
On the defensive end, we committed to it in practice. We worked real hard this past week, and I think that week of practice, not playing in the AML, actually was a blessing for us to be able to focus on the defensive end, work on the details, and rest up a little bit for our playoff run.
It just seemed like the defense, the commitment, the energy level that was there, especially early in the game, was really unreal.
Yeah, and it really started with our sophomore group, Johnny Verischetti, or Verischetti, right? Luke Fragel.
That's what his dad tells me.
Yeah, Luke Fragel and Merrick coming in at about 6.5. Not that anything was, off when the way we started. I just thought, switching it up, getting them in, and seeing their energy level, what they brought to the table at that 6.5-minute mark in the first quarter, really set the tone for the rest of the night for us.
It seemed like early on Keystone's zone was giving you guys trouble, and then all of a sudden when you brought those guys in, those guys seemed to have a better idea of how to attack it. Was that something you were talking to them about on the bench, or just something they did on their own?
It's just rhythm. As far as us, finding a rhythm offensively, being able to get downhill and into the paint and create opportunities. I thought Brendan Paisley did a nice job in that run in the first quarter, getting to the free throw line and then being able to dish down to Swisher for some finishes.
All over a fair amount in the first 2 minutes. Do you think it was nerves or rust on the team?
Probably
it settled down right after. Yeah. When you brought the sophomores in, it did settle down.
Yeah, we tried to pump the music in practice yesterday to simulate, the adrenaline we're going to feel, during the game. But there's nothing that, truly simulates playoff basketball. So it did take us a few minutes, but I thought we found a rhythm. We found some things that worked against a really well-coached Keystone team, a legendary coach, and Coach Heath. We were able to come out with a W tonight.
Up next is a Union team that took Clarion Limestone down to the wire in the KSAC championship semifinals last Thursday. They could have easily won that game and maybe won the KSAC championship. They pulled what I call a mild upset of Clarion tonight. I don't think it's a big upset. I think it's a mild upset. We'll get into that with Jess Quinn, who's on the screen with us here in a moment. But, Don, what do you know about them? And is that a team that you're concerned about?
I did watch your show, Chris, and I think you did predict that one, right? Yeah. So Clarion's good, Union's good. So having Union on Wednesday, very good team. Peyton Johnson, I think, is averaging 16 points a game. Their bigs are physical. And Roxbury is I think he had 7 or 8 threes against us when we played them in the regular season. So they got a very
big an opportunity to see them. That's right.
Yeah, they're a very good team. Very good team, and we're looking forward to the matchup on Wednesday.
Well, Dom, thanks for joining us here on the Janney Montgomery Scott and Clarion QR Code Coaches Chalkboard Show. Folks, we're going to step aside in a second. We'll bring on Jess Quinn to talk about that Union win over the Clarion Bobcats in another quarterfinal game.
Thanks for covering it.
Buying, selling, or building a home, then call Burford and Henry Real Estate today at 814-227-7355. For more than 15 years, Burford and Henry Real Estate Realtors have been ready to help you in your next property search. They are also the #1 agency selling more homes in the region than anyone else. And with their Showcase Homes divisions, their expert consultants can help you with building the home of your dreams. Check out Burford and Henry online at burfordandhenry.com. Burford and Henry Real Estate Services, something different.
We're back here on the Janney Montgomery Scott and Clarion Coaches Chalkboard Show, QRB tonight, as we add Steve Buttery to the show. Steve, let's run down some of the final scores here real quick. Looks like we lost Jess here. I don't know what happened to Jess. Oh, there's Jess.
I'm back, Chris.
There you go. Now you're back. So looking at some of the final scores, Steve.
So we had Union, of course, with that upset over Clarion, 58-48. Elk County Catholic all over Smithport, 55-30.
Yeah, that game was 18-0 at the end of the first quarter.
So Cameron County over Johnsonburg in a back-and-forth game.
Wow, we're going to get into that one here in a moment, Steve, after we talk to Jess. But wow, I mean, they were down 10 at half, up 1, and down 6 with just under 3 to play, and then they win the game
by 3.
Yeah, 40-37, and then Brookville all over Perry Traditional Academy, 46-19. The Raider machine just keeps on running. But they're going to bring in Jess Quinn now here. And Jess, you saw a heck of a game over there at Clarion High School tonight.
I did. I tell you what, Chris, it was all Union right from the get-go. It really was. Union took off and never looked back. It got to, I think, like 10-1, 11-1 before Coach Scott Fox called a timeout, tried to settle his troops. But I tell you what, Xander Laughlin, 3, 4, 5 threes in the game. Peyton Johnson, Xander Laughlin had 21, Chris. Peyton Johnson, he ended up with 17. And I tell you what, the key, and you heard Coach for DCC there just a second ago talking about their size. They couldn't keep Dawson Camper off the boards. He was everywhere in the paint for Union tonight, giving them second and third chances. But they played very, very good team basketball tonight. And literally from the get-go, Chris, they never looked back.
It looked like Clarion, from the scores updates you were giving us, made a couple runs at them, but every time they made a run, Union seemed to have an answer.
They really did. And I tell you what, Union, at the start of the fourth quarter, started their stall offense. And as a coach, I'm sitting there thinking, no. Keep your foot on the pedal, keep your foot on the pedal, keep your foot on the pedal. You can't stall for a whole quarter. And what did Clarion do? They came out and pressed. They started hitting threes. I know Devin Lauer hit 2 threes. Bryce Brinkley hit a 3. Dawson Smale hit a 3. Next thing you know, Devin Lauer's got that little, tip from behind and then takes off the other way, gets 2 layups. Next thing you know, they cut it to 6 or 7 points. It's a single-digit lead. And then Coach Mortimer calls a timeout, tells his guys, let's get going again. That's a tough thing to do, but Union was able to do it. And really what happened, Chris, was Clarion was already in the double bonus. So anytime they got fouled, it was automatic 2 points or, 2 shots. And Union was pretty good from the line down the stretch.
Any of the other scores surprised you there, Jess?
To be honest, Chris, the game that you're at, not that I would think that Keystone would really come in and pull a big upset, but I thought they'd give them a little better game than that. You and I had covered them with Montauk, and I thought they looked really, really good. Henry and Nellis and those guys really, really playing well. But, so that one, to be as lopsided as it was, but to be honest, Chris, you and I talked about this one tonight, and there were 2 big ifs. If Union could come out with the energy that they had, that we saw against CL, they were going to win. And if Clarion came out kind of flat like they did against Carn City, it was going to be a Union victory, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and you know what happened here, Jess, was really it was defense,
Yeah.
defense by DCC. They came out, they were doubling the ball handler on a consistent basis. Keystone just never had an answer for that. They didn't have the ball handlers to be able to do that. And if they do that to Union, I think Union could be in a little bit of trouble too, because that was it was Brookville-esque, it was Elk County-esque. Would you agree with that,
Definitely.
Steve?
Definitely. And I mean, it wasn't just in the half court, it was the full court. If you want to take size away from a team, put it into the full court and keep them away from that board. And that's what DuBois Central did that. I mean, it was one of the best defensive performances I've seen in a long time.
Jess, the game of the night, though, was at Johnsonburg High School. Johnsonburg was up 21-11 at halftime. Cameron County comes back, takes a 1-point lead at the end of the third quarter. With 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go, Johnsonburg's up 6. And then DCC rallies and wins by, or Cameron County rallies and wins by 3. That was a game that went to overtime the first time. That was another game that I thought was a toss-up. And as a result, we have a 5 and a 6 seed into the semifinals. Now, I'll say this: I think we've all talked about it. You could have taken anybody from 3 through 6, put them in a blender, and come up with different seeding every time. But what a job there by Cameron County head coach Marcus Brown and company. And you know, they're one of those teams. They've got 3 guys in double digits. There's only 6 of them. This DuBois Central Catholic team is another one of them. But there's only 6 of them in District 9. There's 3 guys, at least 3 guys in double digits. And they're one of them. And they showed that they were able to rally and face some adversity tonight at half, down 10, having scored just 11 points, and find a way to win.
You know what, Chris? That's what you love about playoff basketball. You know, especially like you said, you get into those middle seeds, you never know what's going to happen. A team's down by 10, then they come right back and take the lead, then lose it again, then fight back and ended up winning it. That's what it's all about, Chris. You know, you look at like the game tonight, and then I listening to Coach Buttery there. Literally, he is exactly right. If DCC puts that kind of pressure, Chris, on Union, they might be in a little trouble. But if they can get it to Dawson Camper or to Laughlin down low in the paint, they might be able to give DCC a good game.
Yeah, and and then Elk County Catholic, they led 18-0 over Smethport at the end of the first quarter. Just basically put it into cruise control after that. I don't think anybody's really surprised by that outcome. The Crusaders are, they lost Wasco. You figure at some point might it come back and hurt them. Maybe it does against Cameron County. Maybe it comes against a Union or a DCC in a championship game. But right now they've been able to put that injury behind them and win 5 in a row.
Well, and that's huge. Chris, you and I talked about it with CL, right? When Jace went down, it made the team deeper. It made the team better. And you're seeing that exact same thing with Elk County.
And then Brookville, it was 10-6 at the end of the first quarter, and then they give up 19 points. They give up 13 points the rest of the game. That Brookville defense is how far can it carry them?
I tell you what, when I coached, it was always about defense. The guy that I learned from, his name was Rob Leone. He was from Brooklyn, New York. And what he wanted to do, Chris, was win the tip, score, and then play great defense and win by 2. So, and that's Brookville's philosophy as far as defense goes. Now, they love to get to steal. They love to push the pace, but they are incredible. And what they do is they play with their feet. They very rarely get a reach call. They are in position all the time, and they play great help defense.
So as we look at the Class A semifinals, they're now set. It's going to be Elk County Catholic versus Cameron County, DuBois Central Catholic versus Union. I'll start with you, Jess. Who are your winners in those two?
I tell you what. I don't want to go against Union, okay? But to be honest, if they bring, I'll say this, Chris. If they bring the energy that they brought in the last 2 games, it is going to be a dogfight. I would still lean toward DCC, and of course, then I would also lean toward ECC. But I tell you what, don't sleep on Union. If they can handle the pressure, don't sleep on them.
Steve?
I would agree there. I mean, Elk County I'd have in the final, but if DuBois Central plays like they did tonight, it'll be a rematch of last year. Now I know Camper and Laughlin, they're great physical players, but I'm not sure they've seen a defense like played up in the north in the AML, and what tonight will give them fits.
I agree with that. I think it's going to be DCC, ECC, and honestly, if DCC comes out in a championship game and plays like they did tonight, they're going to be the District 9 champions. We saw what happened when Brookville played that kind of defense against Elk. Yep. They scored a school record low 16 points. Yeah. I think Central made a large statement tonight. The way they played, not just the final score, but just the way they played defense tonight, I thought was a statement type of game for them.
You know, Chris, not seeing that game, but it sounds exactly what we're talking about here. And it's the old adage, right? Defense wins championships. I don't care if it's football, basketball, doesn't matter. You play great defense. You can always have an off night shooting the ball, but you should never have an off night playing defense. And if you play great defense, you not only will be in the game, but you give yourself a chance to win.
No question, Jess. Hey, Jess, thanks for joining us from Clarion High School tonight. This remote stuff actually worked.
It worked. I couldn't believe it. So it's fantastic, Chris.
Well, Jess and I will be back at it. I don't know if we'll be back at it Monday. There are some, there's a couple of Concy. All those teams that lost, they go in the Concy. And because you had the 6 and the 5 win, you've got a little bit of a different setup because they're going to reseed, which means that third-seeded Clarion is going to play a home game. They will play. They'll play Smethport. So Smethport's going to have to come down to Clarion on Monday. Jess, maybe you and I'll just show up there. I don't think we'll do a broadcast, but I think probably there's a good chance you and I'll be there. Yeah,
that sounds great.
And then Keystone is going to have to travel up to Johnsonburg, and those teams are all still alive for that fifth place. And so, if you're Clarion and you're disappointed, or you're Johnsonburg and you're disappointed because, you got kind of upset tonight, there's still something to play for.
Absolutely, Chris. And I tell you what, if I am Coach Fox, and I've talked to Coach Fox quite a bit, I really like when he presses. You know what I mean? And it really causes, whoever they play, it causes them a lot of fits. If I were him, I think I would look to the press a lot earlier in the game, next week.
Well, Jess, thanks for joining us here on this edition of the Janney Montgomery Scott in Clarion QR Code Coaches Showdown QRB tonight with Steve Buttery joining us. Steve, thanks for joining me tonight here in Du Bois. Thanks for joining me on the broadcast too. And folks, until Monday, maybe Tuesday, probably Monday. This is Chris Rossetti for Jess Quinn and Steve Buttery saying good night.